to me in the key of humanity. Bring me the beauty, 'cause I'm ready to love and I'm ready to learn. I'm ready to let it begin. Ready to let love in. I've been to the dark side of the moon. I've been a singer out of tune, a poet. I was searching for the rhyme, but this is my moment in time. So please sing to me in the key of humanity. Bring me the beauty, 'cause I'm ready to love and I'm ready to learn. I'm ready to let it begin. Ready to let love in. I'm happy to walk in my own shoes. Get it? My voice forgot how to sing the blues. It's just as easy as falling on a cloud. Right now, I want to hear one sound. I want to hear sing to me in the key of humanity. Yeah. Bring me, come on, bring me the beauty, 'cause I'm ready to love and I'm ready to learn. I'm ready to let it begin. Ready to let love in. Cheers, I've tasted, well, bitter for so long. Now tears of joy fall as I realize that we're all here, yes we are, singing the same song. Oh, we sing to be in the key of humanity. Bring me, come on, bring me the beauty, 'cause I'm ready to love and I'm ready to learn. I'm ready to let it begin. Ready to let love in. Yes, I am. I'm ready. Oh, can you relate? Can I get an amen? Woo! Hit it! I'm gonna let love in. I'm gonna let love in. Are you gonna let love in? Ready to let love. Ready to let love in. Thank you. Thank you, Dave.
Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living San Jose, where we are transforming lives, building dreams, and revealing love. Where all we ask is that you stay open to changing your entire life by changing your mind. Welcome home. I'm Darlene Dunning. I'm one of your assistant ministers, and this is Reverend Valerie, our youth and family staff minister. And more than that, I'm a member of the center. I welcome you to my spiritual home, and this month we are exploring creative expression. This month offers many wonderful opportunities for your personal growth and expansion. Information about all of our events is available on our website, on our Facebook page, and in our social hall. Please feel free to join us after the services at the concierge table. Now we'd like to say a special word of welcome to anyone here for the first time. Thank you for visiting. You matter to us. I invite you to visit our concierge and fellowship hall to pick up a welcome packet after service and sign our guest book. The welcome packet includes a gift for you, information about the center, and the concierge team member will be there to answer any questions about who we are and what we do. You can also get a welcome packet in the foyer on the way out. Today's flowers are the gift in honor of Cynthia Race and her family. Today's flowers are also the gift of Belinda Bright in memory of her beloved mom, Hazel Esther Hilton Bright, and all of her sisters. Love you, Belinda. Let's take a moment to celebrate being in community and just with each other, and turn to someone near you and greet them. Each week we dedicate a few moments of our service to sit in silence together. Please ensure a sacred atmosphere by turning off your cell phone if you have not already, but after you've checked in on Facebook, of course. We invite you to join our musicians in a chant that will take us into the silence.
Breath of my breath, heart of my heart, soul of my soul, spirit divine, I am yours, and you please join me. Breath of my breath, heart of my heart, soul of my soul, spirit divine, I am yours. And you are mine. Now let it sink deeply into your heart. Breath of my breath, heart of my heart, soul of my soul, spirit divine, I am yours.
Let us pray. As we go within, inside our heart of hearts, knowing that there is one mind, one power, one essence, as we tune into that oneness, that goodness, that godness, that greatness, knowing that that spirit flows through each and every one of us, in the I am that we are, beautifully, brilliantly, with love, with grace. As I claim in this moment that life is absolutely divine, that divine recognition of the divinity that flows through with creativity, with love, with brilliance, shines beautifully right where you are, allowing love to flow, knowing that the love in this moment flows out to the universe and comes back abundantly. Allowing that divine nature of who you are to express in wonderful, beautiful, brilliant ways. As you let the love shine, you let the creativity of who you are shine right here, right now, and forevermore. And in great, great gratitude for this knowing that we are tuned in, we are plugged in, we are charged up to the divinity. As I release this into the universal action of the law, knowing all is well. And so it is. Namaste. Oh, yeah, we're going to do the affirmation. Please join me in today's affirmation. Today I seek the divine pattern at the center of my own being, affirming its reality. I permit its essence to flow through me, claiming it as my very own. I embrace it.
So next Sunday is Reverend Valerie's last Sunday here as our youth and family director, and that's not because something's wrong. She's answering the call. So she's been taking care of our kids long enough that Spirit sort of booted her out and said it's time for you to really to be up to the good work that this center has developed you to be. So I just want to let you guys know that next Sunday is Reverend Valerie's last Sunday as our youth director, and this is really good news for her, which means it has to be good news for us too. For those of you who are worried, we put together a team of folk who will explore possibilities with youth and family ministry, so we're not going to take any action until the 1st of next year. We have, however, contracted with Linda Joy McKay, who will act as youth and family coordinator to keep everything going static until the end of the year. So if you have any comments or dreams or desires about what you want to see in youth and family ministries, please send me an email and I'll forward it to Reverend Susan and her team, or you can contact Reverend Susan directly. Now that that's been said, please help me acknowledge this awesome minister and what she's up to.
Thank you. I love you all very much, and I love your children. And I'm taking the love here and just expanding the love. So I know that there is growth and sharing, and I'm ready to fly. And I fly with all of you. So, yes. All right. Love you. Namaste.
When I feel like I'm walking all alone, and I know there's nowhere left to go, I reach out for you. When I've lost my very best friend, and I open and loving, ready to do what I need to. I let it all go, knowing that I can rest my soul. 'Cause when the mountains, they seem so tall, and I feel so very small, yes, I'll reach out for you. I bring myself to you, open and loving. I'm ready to do what I need to. I let it all go, knowing that I can rest my soul. Even in my moments of doubt, I don't have to figure it out, because I know just what to do. I reach out for you. And when my spirit's flying high, and I'm so grateful I could cry, I reach out for you. I reach out for you. Thank you, Dave.
Off with her head. Love saying that. Hi. My name is Karen Fedor, and I am a dreamer. It was first documented in first grade when my first grade teacher told my mom, "Your daughter is always going to live in her own little world." Yes. And since then, many people have told me that I really should exist in the real world, that I should get my head out of the clouds. But the real world of the people that have been telling me this is not really where I want to be. Yeah? Word, right? So, I've worn a lot of costumes, been in a lot of stories. The most recent, about the last 4 years, have been the story of unemployment, mostly unemployment, off and on, some contract work, but as a tax analyst in high tech. So I thought that was a really stable place, but it turned out to be not so much for me. And several months ago, I just was at a place where I had tried everything, and I was at the end of my rope. I couldn't do anymore. I wanted to give up, but that was not an option. So I went to a very wise friend of mine, and I said, what do I need to do? And she said, do whatever you want. You're a spiritual being having a human experience, and just do whatever you want to do. And I said, are you telling me that I can do whatever I want to do? She said, yeah, go ahead. I said, okay. Sounded fun. And then I had another friend who said, don't work to make somebody else's dream come true. Do your own dream and make that come true. So I thought about that, and I thought about, well, what would that look like, my dream? And I found that it's centered around music and art and spiritual service. And then I went to Dr. David's Better Business Brown Bag breakfast in May. And it was the second week of May. And he gave us sort of a formula for manifesting. And the beginning of this formula starts out, I am in a covenant with God. And the middle part is the part you make up. And then the end part is the part that says, and I do nothing to make this happen, but I do things to make it welcome. And that had a powerful impact on me. And so I wrote up a little blurb, and it goes like this. I am in a covenant with God to be in a highly successful, highly profitable business as a channel of grace, light, love, laughter, music, and art. And I do nothing to make this happen, but I do things to make it welcome. And I said that 25 times a day from that second week in May. And within 3-4 weeks, I was getting work as a channel of grace, as a musician. I play the ukulele, and my art is hanging at a senior center in Saratoga right now. And I actually got paid to play the ukulele. Who knew? Yeah, right? I don't know. My mother does not get this at all. I say, Mom, I'm a channel of grace now. Yeah, you try telling your mother that. See what kind of reaction you get. But it's worked, and it's brought a lot of wonderful, wonderful things ever since into my life. And I'm doing amazing things that I never imagined before. And all with that dream. So I just want to say that it is definitely a good idea to be a dreamer. And Cinderella, oh, I got double dog dared about the outfit. But it's fitting, right? So I'm just saying, Cinderella says, right? Every dream that you dream will come true. Thank you.
A very good morning to you. It's really good. It's really good to be back. Last Saturday, I was in Salt Lake City with my brother Kenneth and his wife Robin, their daughter Melissa, and their son-in-law Josh, and the grandbaby, Melissa and Josh's baby Haley, who's 3 years old. And we were at, we did an event called the Dirty Dash. Now, the Dirty Dash is a 10K obstacle course in the mud. Wow. It was in the mud. Like, it was totally in the mud. You know, when you're a little kid, like Haley's age, you're 3 years old, you can't. You're compelled by the universe to actually go into every puddle that's in the way. You know that? I realized last Saturday in Salt Lake City, I realized clearly that never goes away. So the obstacle course was like wading through these pools of mud that were nipple high. I can say that, right? Yeah. They were nipple high, and the consistency of peanut butter. Yeah, and I know you guys are all saying that, but I know you're just dying to do it. And then you get out of it, and you have to climb over these like hills, and it's so slimy and just hysterical, especially when your sister-in-law gets mud in her teeth, and especially when you're the one who caused it. And then you try to hang on to monkey bars after that, and it was awesome. And then Sunday I spent the whole day scrubbing mud out of body parts, and so I watched you guys online. And then on Monday I went with my brother and his wife and their daughter and son-in-law and grandbaby to Grand Teton National Park and Yellowstone, where we camped for 5 days. And it was just it's been a stunning week just to be with family, my family of origin, in addition to my being fortunate to be with you, my family of choice. So my brother and his wife live a very different life than I do. They drive a 4x4 Dodge Ram 1500 pickup truck. Whoa. And it pulls this 22-foot trailer behind them, and they are fearless. They're totally fearless, and they're completely present to whatever's happening. It was an honor to be, and to be in the back seat next to a loaded handgun and a bag of bullets. And I was thinking, people in Northern California would not like this at all. They would just like not like this. But secretly, I wanted my own. It's the compulsion of being American, I think. And I had the most glorious time because I had discovered something that I really hadn't known that was hungering to be expressed as me, and that's this thing called hiking. So I'm originally from Los Angeles, and there's a missing persons song back in the 80s called Nobody Walks in LA. That wasn't just a song. So when they said we're going to go walking up to that mountain, I thought, well, what's wrong with your 4x4? Now, I had done hiking once before. I was Sharon Catalan is a friend of ours, and Sharon asked if I wanted to go hike at Yosemite, and I said sure. She said you wanted to hike Half Dome. I said okay, and I didn't. Really, who knows what 18 miles looks like when you don't walk to 7-Eleven, right? So I thought, well, it would be fitting to go to this looking stylish, so I bought new shoes. Apparently, you know something I didn't know. So that was it was an extraordinary day. That was one of those days you just never forget. And I haven't had a fondness for it since. So when it was burning, I was like, let it burn. What you're thinking about me right now is creating something for your life. So, surprise of surprises, when I found myself walking every day through Grand Teton National Park or Yellowstone on these dirt paths with a little 3-year-old pushing me aside saying, me first, me finding myself absolutely thrilled. To the degree that I found myself wanting to keep walking faster than the rest just to be alone. Now, I love my family. I love them. We all 6 of us can sleep in this tiny trailer together and just be completely happy and harmonious. But I had never really had the experience of being called to something that wasn't like a cinema or a concert or Santana Row. And it's that calling that doesn't just live in Wyoming. It's not just like some voice that's coming down the canyons of the Grand Teton, the Middle Teton, and the South Teton. It's actually was here in this room when we got here today, and it will be here in this room when we leave today, but we'll also take it with us today. The question for me is, am I listening to it? Am I related to it? Am I having a relatedness to wonder? It's been a long time, I think, since as an adult that I really had wonder about the wilderness. It was stunning. There were some really holy moments. I got to watch my brother and his wife and their interaction. They have a synergy that to me is stunning. They've been together and married for more than 30 years. And they have developed such synchronicity and partnership. Their marriage is partnership. They have a shared vision, a shared dream, and a shared ambition and goal. And each of them has their own role within this. And each role is distinct from the other, but without which the other suffers. So I watched my brother as he backed up this trailer. I totally watched. I was just watching this thing, and this is fascinating. As he backed up this trailer, and then he dropped the hitch, or lifted the hitch from the truck, and then he removed the sway bars, and he unplugged the brakes and the lights. And I was watching everything that he did. He has this method to, and for example, he takes off the sway bars, and then he wants to spray them with WD-40 to remove the grease so that the dirt from being in the wilderness doesn't get on there and create friction on the way home. So he removes the grease and then puts it in a bag. But the way he did it was he walked to the trailer to get a rag, and my sister-in-law's hand came out of the trailer with the rag, and then the hand went back inside. And then he walked in, he wiped it down. Then he went back to the trailer to get the WD-40. And this WD-40 came out. And there was no verbal communication. And there was no internet, so it wasn't like he was texting her either. And I was thinking of this, how they have created in their marriage the same thing that you and I can create with this unseen guest. This partnership and synchronicity that can actually occur with wow, the Christians are right. Before you have even asked, I have answered. Before he even asked for the WD-40, there it was. So there were so many holy moments this week, not the least of which was my experience traveling with a 3-year-old toddler and her hunger for knowledge in the form of nursery rhymes, such that her parents, my niece and her husband, have indulged her with CDs that play over and over and over again. It was stunning because I was watching the adults in this truck wondering, do you not know what's going on here? Because I was listening to the words of the nursery rhymes, and I was a little startled by the way with which we just accept things as they are when we also resist things as they are. And it's ironic that we resist the things as they are that really could be transformative, and we accept the things as they are that really are not working. Did you get that? Yeah. He got it. One of the nursery rhymes was there was an old woman who lived in a shoe. I mean, I heard that my whole life, but I never really heard it from the mouth of a 3-year-old who said, there was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and whipped them all soundly and put them to bed. I thought, she's telling nursery rhymes about beating people. And nobody is bothered. The other one was Goosey, Goosey, Gander. Goosey, goosey, gander, whither shall I wander? Upstairs and downstairs and in my lady's chamber. Then I met an old man who wouldn't say his prayers, so I took him by his left leg and threw him down the stairs. But wait, like a Ronco commercial, there's more. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. And nobody says a word. I was just reflecting on how often things are just occurring and we say it's okay. Now, I have these kind of nursery rhymes, although they're not those nursery rhymes, these things in my head, and I just allow them. So I can't even have judgment about these nursery rhymes, because don't I say things to myself about the way I look and the way I handled something, or what an idiot I was, or when am I ever going to get something right, and I allow that. So who am I to stop that? Do you guys know what I mean? And then I heard one that really rocked my world. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. And I thought, that's holy. Really, some things can't be fixed. Some things cannot be repaired. Some things can't even be recreated. But the invisible guest in which we move and live and have our being, the invisible guest that is always present. I mean, if you knew who walked beside you, you would never be afraid. That invisible guest won't fix what appears to be broken, but with it, you can create workability and magic. Even if you're not blessed to have a relationship like my brother Kenny and his wife Robin, and it's not just because they're lucky, they work at it. I see how she resists the urge to hurt him. And I see how he resists the urge to flush her down the toilet. But in their interaction, there is such respect. It was stunning to just sit there and stare at them thinking, wow, I want that. But even if you're not in one of those relationships, you're in a relationship with probably a very neglected, invisible lover. I mean, if I gave Mauricio the amount of attention I sometimes give God, or lack thereof, Mauricio would have left a long time ago. So, I'm here today to talk about Ignite. That's the topic. Today is week 4 of a 5-week exploration on disciplined dreaming. Our book of the month is called Disciplined Dreaming. And although it's written for the business mind, it's about businesses, it applies to everyday life. And when I read the exercises that the author recommends for business folk to do in staff meetings, or one-on-one with their business partners, or with their inferiors or superiors, it occurred to me that we can do the same thing in the staff meeting with the invisible one, which with whom, by the way, you should have a meeting every day, because it's really awesome to watch what will occur and emerge when you intentionally pause to make a connection, to remember that you're not alone, and to watch how workability and creativity begin to emerge. So this 5-week series is based on 5 different topics: ask, prepare, discover, ignite, and next week. I don't remember what next week is. Oh, next week is when I get to announce our new music director. If you already know. First week was ask. The idea being that no matter how life appears to you right now, no matter how life is occurring for you right now, there is a possibility about which you hadn't even imagined that's open up to you. But you will not notice it because you are typically focused on what's not working, or just trying to hang on to, or just mostly we're just trying to move through life trying not to die. But the disciplined dreaming is when you consciously begin to create a life of workability for yourself and for the people that matter to you. The first week is ask. Just asking questions like why not, and what if. Like, what if there really was a candy bar that if you ate, it caused you to slim down? What if there really was a candy bar that if you ate it, it gave you negative calorie count? Asking this, no, suddenly you're alive, right? You're like, I want that. The next week was prepare. Prepare, for that week, we were blessed to have Nipun Mehta. And Nipun Mehta was helping us to prepare for disciplined dreaming by beginning a 21-day kindness challenge. And we're in the middle of it right now. You can start it today if you haven't already started it, or you can resume it if you've forgotten or have put it aside. To prepare is to make available to you anything. So, fortune favors the prepared. I live my life open to spontaneity on purpose, but I also prepare. So I'm spontaneous with what occurs with today, but I have ready for tomorrow what needs to be ready for tomorrow. I have found a workable balance. It's taken me a while, but I found it. So spontaneity is partner to, sister to, lover to, brother to, husband to, wife to. Preparedness. Week 2 was prepare. Week 3 was last week with Reverend Darlene Dunning, and Reverend Darlene on in her message to you and to me online was mentioning Wayne Dyer. And Wayne Dyer said that if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And she set us up with even mentioning one of the 5 steps of our affirmative prayer being realization. When she said, when you look at it with real eyes. When you look at it with real eyes, and I thought, she's so clever. How was Reverend Darlene last week, by the way? I was watching her thinking, she doesn't have any notes. And I was thinking, if I didn't have any notes, we'd be in trouble. I was inspired by the way Reverend Darlene would flow from idea to idea and then bring those ideas back and reassemble them as a recap. It was very nicely done. And it's going to be fun watching how she will grow in your presence, because you're the congregation that actually creates ministers. And so I'm really excited to watch how she will develop because of you. So last week was Discover. Today is Ignite. And Ignite is the assignment, should you choose to take it. The assignment, your mission, is to ignite little sparks of creativity. Ignite them. And you're always igniting them, but without knowing it, you're probably dousing them and extinguishing them. You don't know it. But this book gives us 8, is it 8? Yeah, 8 commandments. 8 commandments that you agree to take on if you want to ignite creativity. Do you guys want to know what the 8 commandments are? The 3 of you who want to, I will share them with you after service. So what else do you guys want to talk about? Do you guys want to hear these? Me? Funny you should ask. First commandment, thou shalt not judge. Your idea. Oh, that's stupid, or that's already been done, or that never worked. Thou shalt not judge. Second commandment to creativity. Thou shalt not comment. Comment is similar to judge, only comment is out loud what you're probably judging quietly. But you might comment to other people, oh, that's just not going to work. And whose idea was that beard anyway? Thou shalt not edit is number 3. Thou shalt not edit. I had a great experience of this. I do it every time that I journal. I do my best not to edit. I literally just go for the flow of what's occurring. And almost always it starts out this way. Here I am writing because I said that I would, and I really don't know why I'm writing, and what am I doing this for? And there's got to be a better way. And who's really talking in my head anyway? And where is this going? And wow, how does that finger work? I just think, and then the finger moves. And this is what begins to happen. If I edit, I would stop. Do you know Harry Potter, from beginning to end, was developed because J.K. Rowling didn't have the opportunity to edit? She literally went through in her head from beginning to end. She said if she had a pen and paper to stop and write things down, these stories would have stopped. So don't edit, just allow it to happen. Number 4 is thou shalt not execute. Make an agreement not to take action on anything that you think about this week. Unless, of course, your hair's on fire, take action. Or your kid's in trouble, or your something is in danger. But thou shalt not execute, because then there's a pressure to make something happen, and then your voices start, well, how am I going to do this? I can't afford it. I'm not old enough. I'm too old. I'm not big enough. I'm too big, etc. Thou shalt not execute. Number 5, thou shalt not worry. I better say that again. Thou shalt not worry. Worry is rehearsal. Get that. Get it. Worry is rehearsal. When you're engaged in worrying, you're actually rehearsing. That'll change your day. 6, thou shalt not look backwards. There's a movie called Gumball. Gumball Rally. And in Gumball Rally, an Italian gets into this very expensive, beautiful sports car convertible, and he says, let me show you the first rule of driving with Italians. And he breaks off the rearview mirror and he throws it away. And he said, what's happening behind me is not important. I know we want this great future, but we're actually creating our futures right this very moment. And most of what we're creating it with is visions of our past. And then the past happens, and you wonder why God abandoned you. Or why God abandoned the people that you know about. You have this friend, see? So that's shall not look backwards. 7, thou shalt not lose focus. Focus, focus, focus. And 8, thou shalt not sap energy. Do you know any energy vampires? Are you an energy vampire? Okay. So those would be really, really easy if the world were perfect and everything turned out the way you wanted it to turn out all the time. But sometimes stuff happens. Stuff happens. And when things go wrong, our call is to not go with them. When things go wrong, don't go with them. Being at Yellowstone, I got to see the remnants of the 1988 wildfire conflagration. And it's called a conflagration because it wasn't just a wildfire. It was a storm of wildfires that lasted 4 months and burned 45% of the park, not to mention the acreage outside of the park and the rest of Wyoming and Idaho and Montana. So when it was happening, you can watch the news coverage. When it was happening, the world was watching, saying, do something, do something, do something. And there's a sense of panic. And, you got to stop this. And we have this happen in our lives. Most people have this, oh, my God, I have to stop this. I have to stop this. I have to stop this. This is horrible. This can't happen. But like Humpty Dumpty, sometimes things can't be put together again. But you know what it turns out? See, there was a huge learning with this most extensive fire in U.S. park history. The learning is that without that fire, forgotten species of plants and animals would not have emerged. They emerged only because of the nutrients and the clearing of the brush that took place because of that fire. Do you know that 80% of the fauna in Yellowstone, 80% is lodgepole pine? And do you know that lodgepole pines cannot reproduce without fire? So it wasn't until the lodgepole pines were burned down and all of those little pine cones that have sat dormant for centuries, or a couple centuries since the last major fire, they can determine that all of those pine cones and the seeds within them were useless until fire happened and caused all the seeds to pop, which created a whole new generation of plant life, which is now feeding more animals than were feeding before. Animals were beginning to migrate away from Yellowstone because there was no food. See, the point being here that we're very quick to say this shouldn't happen, but while it's happening, it may actually secretly and privately and amazingly be a miracle. But we won't notice those miracles because we're not living in wonder. Wonder. Wonder's when you're a little kid, you spill milk. Oh my God, the milk spilled. That's wonder. But we're not like that most of the time. We're like, oh my God, Apple has just upgraded their iOS 7 system, and it's so difficult now to relearn my iPhone and my iPad. When we could be in wonder, this little device is actually sending a signal to a satellite way up in space and then sending it back down and giving us information, and we're upset. That's not wonder. Living in wonder is what we're called. Live in wonder. This is how you ignite, to live in wonder. And it's ironic, right? Ignite, Yellowstone. I was at Old Faithful. I saw it many years ago, but I was a different man then than I am now. I'm like a man who's never existed before when I was there, and I really wanted to see it. I wanted to be in wonder. And what I noticed is that we were very tired as a group, and we still had a couple hours drive to get back to Grand Teton National Park, and it was dark, and it was cold, and it was snowing. And my brother was stopped there for me, and I secretly wanted to can we just go? Can we just go? So here I was with thousands of people lined up, and this Old Faithful, it spouts every 91 minutes plus or minus 10 minutes. So I was watching my watch as we were eating, and it had now been 79 minutes since the last eruption. So let's go now. So we got 2 minutes to get there in case it's on the early end of the 91 minutes, give or take 10 minutes. You guys with me so far? So we're standing there, and I could see all of us were a little bit draggled. And here we are in this unbelievable cauldron of possibility that's just about to spew something that many people in the world only see in a picture. And I'm like going, and then guess what? It was late. It was actually late. It was 6 minutes, and then I noticed the whole group then began to bristle with, it's late, it's late. Now that's not living in wonder. Do you guys know what I mean? That's not living in wonder. This week, we're called to live in wonder. And one of the great ways to live in wonder this week is to show up next Saturday for the auction. Because while I was at Yellowstone and in the mountains by myself, I had visions of my Versace ties. These are 20 Versace ties and 4 Giancarlo Pancaldi ties. And while I was there, the voice said, "Donate your Versace." And I went, "Huh?" A demon from hell, I refute you. And it said, "Donate your Versace ties to Matt and Nicole." Now, I've heard this voice before. I've ignored the voice before, and it's never worked out when I do. And it's always worked out when I did. So I got home and I put all my ties on one of my racks. Not all my ties. These are not all my ties. But these are all my Versaces except for one. I have one Easter tie that my mother gave me back in 1983. That's not being donated. I'll argue with God to the end for that one. But because it's from my mom. But these will be auctioned off this coming Saturday. Talk about wonder. I wonder who's going to end up with these. And even if you don't like them or don't want to wear them, you can sell these for quite a bit of money on eBay. So Nicole, keep an eye on these. Although this is a house of God, you never know. So that's one way to have wonder. Show up next Saturday for the auction. It is hysterical. It is awesome, and you'll hear more about that in just a moment. In the meantime, let's close this puppy out by moving back into wonder and recreating this thing called nursery rhyme. Because there was one I heard in the car in the Dodge Ram 1500 pick-me-up. When little Haley started doing this one in particular, and I couldn't think of anybody but you. So I'm just going to give you the first word, and you'll know where this is going. Twinkle. Rather than me pray for you, let's pray together. And one way to pray together is to do it as a 3-year-old with a sense of wonder. Are you guys ready? On the count of 3, let's say it together. 1, 2, 3. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are, up above this world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. And I double dog dare you to come to the auction next Saturday. The ushers are going to come forward and help us with the sharing of our gifts and tithes and offerings. And while they do that, I'd just like to say to those folks in the room who are here for the first time, welcome. When the basket passes in front of you, give if you feel called, but know that as our guest, we have no expectation, except please don't take anything out of the basket. Please say the giving affirmation with me. I am free to accept my blessings and to share them with others. I see myself as a giver, as a channel of goodness in this world. As I give, I expand my capacity for living and loving and learning.
Okay, so I've been asked to say this before I start this song. Thank you, David, so much. That was a beautiful talk. My name is Kelly Corsino. I'm from Long Beach, California, from the Namaste Center for Spiritual Living, and I'm a touring artist, and I would love to meet you out in the fellowship hall. I do have my music for sale, but even if you aren't ready to buy something today, I'd just love to meet you all and get a hug and share some time together. So I'm going to close it out. Thank you, Dave. Giving till I was empty. Oh, that's what I've done. I was looking for the wellspring to perfect love. I prayed to God in heaven. Oh no, it wasn't there. I prayed for clear direction, and I was made aware. Now I'm feeling up with the Spirit in me, filling up to overflow. God is that still small voice within me, bringing me right back home. I love it. Yeah. Sing and dance for God if the Spirit moves you. I won't look back in times of sorrow. I won't look back and feel regret. No, I won't. 'Cause I'm jumping off to find my glory. And I won't need, no, I won't need less. I'm filling up with the Spirit in me, filling up to overflow. That still small voice within me, bringing me right back home. The nights of doubt behind me, bring the days that makes me cry. I sit there in the corner, scared I was gonna try, filling up with the Spirit in me, filling up to overflow. Like a that still small voice within me, bringing me right back home, bringing us right back
Good morning, Miss Betty Bunny.
Wow, nice to see you, 007.
It's Bond, James Bond.
Okay. So let me get this straight. We both agreed to co-host the auction, right?
Right,
And we said we would each dress up as a character from a movie.
right.
And I was Natiri from Avatar, and you are James Bond.
Right.
So you got to wear a tuxedo, and I painted my face blue and my lips blue and wore a crazy wig.
Miss Moneypenny, it's not up to me. It's from Her Majesty's Secret Service. It was out of my hands.
I don't think that happened. I don't think that ever happened, really.
It did.
Okay.
Let's talk about the auction.
Okay.
Okay, it is next Saturday night, 6 o'clock. Tickets are still available. You can see us after service in Fellowship Hall. You can get them online, or you can get them at the door.
I hear David Bruner's attending.
Oh, yes, David Bruner is attending. And did you know that he was rejected by Her Majesty's Secret Service for
Okay.
not passing the background check?
Well, it turns out their loss was our gain. We're also going to have a dinner that night. We're going to have dessert. There's going to be a no-host bar with yummy wines. And as we've told you all along, there's a silent auction. And we're going to have things like gift baskets and the entire Adobe software suite. And as you've already heard, those beautiful ties with David.
Those ties were originally my ties. Yes. We have the ties. We also have a live auction. And one of the cool auction items this year is a quilt made and donated by Agent Albright this year. And it is beautiful. She spent like 30 hours on this quilt, and it's designed especially for you.
Yes, it's beautiful. I've seen it. It's gorgeous. And we also have a water skiing trip with David and Mao where they're going to take you out on the Delta for the day. They're going to have lunch with you, provide lunch and snacks and yummy stuff. And it's appropriately called Day on the Delta.
Wow, there's a lot of water-themed prizes this year. One of the items that we have is a beach house in Capitola where you and some friends can hang out for the weekend up there. We also have a 7-day trip in Maui, a beautiful townhouse right on the beach. It's gorgeous. You can snorkel and swim and have some awesome restaurants in Hawaii.
I love Hawaii. It's beautiful. Did you ever do a mission there?
Yes, there's a secret mission in Hawaii.
Really? I think the only mission you've been in Hawaii is maybe going to a touristy hotel, laying out on the beach and watching pretty women walk by.
Nicole, it was a secret top mission,
Okay.
and it was for your eyes only.
We also have a new twist on a favorite auction item that we have every year, which is the 2 reserved seats in the sanctuary. They're over there. You've seen them. And this year we're expanding it. It's going to be an exclusive free pass for the entire year to every CSL event, like the Oscar party, all concerts, fundraisers, all non-certified classes, everything. For 1 year, you're a VIP.
Wow, that's awesome. You're all a VIP. Okay, so here's the last thing I'm going to say. So rumor has it this may be the last auction. We've been doing this for 8 years now, so you don't want to miss this one. We have a lot of fun things planned for you. And what we're going to do this afternoon after service in Fellowship Hall, if you get a ticket, you get another one free. So buy one, get another one free, and we'll see you after service. Thanks.
All right. So I have my tickets. I'm ready to go, and it's going to be scrumptious and fun-filled, as you can tell. We have tonight the Sunday night service with Reverend Tony Cormier, and music, wonderful music at the Sunday night service at 6 p.m. Visioning series from 12:30 to 1:30 p.m. today. We have the at the fourth Sundays of every month. Visioning is to optimize and sensitize and to be available for spirit. So this will be individually. We'll also have some live flute music as well. Introduction to Brotherhood from 1 o'clock, 1 to 3 today. It's a men's group that's forming. Please feel free to participate, led by Neil Zimmerman. Practice Makes Permanent, our Wednesday night spiritual practices class from 7 till 8 with Reverend Susan Overland. This week's topic is What Goes Around Comes Around. And the Aware series, we have music by Sue Love and some meditation and music. We also have a pet remembrance service which is happening for people to remember and celebrate their beloved pets. Friday, October 4th at 7 o'clock. Sponsored by the Animal Connections. Dream Interpretation class, which is Thursdays. It'll be 5 Thursdays in the evening with practitioner Gregory Merritt. Weeding Your Mental Garden. I think we could all use a little bit of that. With Ron Wade, it'll be Thursday nights beginning October 3rd. And Nurturing the Seed for Growth with practitioner Lori Lynch. Creating one life, one moment at a time, one life. There is one life. And This Life is My Life Now with Madeline Zimmerman. Women at the Well, we have the Women's Connection. They also have this Friday night, the 27th, at 6 p.m. It's called Eat, Pray, Love, which is the Women's Connection. We'll meet at the Movable Feast. So you can move your feet and meet at the Movable Feast. Tonight, Conversations with God has two special guests. It's the executive director and the president of the Conversations with God Foundation, who will be here on site at 7:15 for this book study group, Conversations with God. And enjoy being of service. If you'd like to be of service and have some fun and take on some projects and enjoy, please see Maureen Ross. We have openings in the front office and other areas, and it's a beautiful place to be of service in spiritual practice. The 21-Day Kindness Challenge, if you don't already have your Smile cards, please stop by the gift shop, and it's to have random acts of kindness and to pay it forward. It's a beautiful campaign that is 21-day acts of kindness, now through Gandhi's birthday, October 2nd. And if you would like prayer support, affirmative prayer, you can meet our professional prayer practitioners under the windows today, and nothing has to be wrong. You can up-level your experience, whatever that is. So feel free to join our practitioners today after services. For full details of all of our events, please see our website. And then also see Kelly Corsino, who's our guest artist today. She'll have CDs and a big hug and smile for you in the social hall. Thanks so much. And please stand and take the hand of the person on your right and on your left, and join me in a moment of benediction. Won't you know with me that you are never alone, that God is where you are right now, and all you need to do is look within to know that you are guided, sustained, directed, and inspired by a source that knows only good. Joyously let us make use of our gifts in all that we think, say, and all that we do. And so it is.
And as is our custom, would you please repeat after me? Something wonderful is happening as me right now. Something wonderful is happening as me right now. It's this thing called life. Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is in my relationships. Life is in my finances. Life is in Syria. I see it. I think it. I feel it. I believe it. I accept it. I express it just the way that it is and just the way that it is not. Thank you, life.